Hello, how's it going, my viewbots? Make sure to leave your social security number in the comments to prove you're real. Today we are visiting a couple of Space Station 13 servers. I'm only riding in this RV because I'm a dick. We're not traveling anywhere a computer can't take us, so prepare your eyes for the ride. Our first stop will be at Fulp Station. It's a place for beginners and senior players such as myself. I tell you, Sonny, I've been playing so long that I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I was senile from the beginning. Wandering around aimlessly like I have dementia has always been my playstyle. Well, during this particular trip, I chose to control a curator named Sam Windpipe. He was arriving late to work as usual. Good thing his boss was chill. So chill, in fact, Sam was granted a promotion to changeling. On screen paper, it appeared he'd be doing double the work since he still had to keep his librarian position. Though doing both of these jobs would be too much for him to handle. He'd rather spend his time murdering. Sam even quit reading books and words in general, so he had no clue what his objectives were. Something else Sam was clueless about is the station's layout. At least he found himself a spear before locating the library. Upon arriving at the library, Sam saw a shotgun in the display case. With the key to unlock in his pocket, he basically came home so drunk he broke in through his own window. Regardless, the firearm dissolved into a pile of ashy legs. Then some bolt action struck Sam and surrounding bystanders, giving all their bones a shock like old people when they get near electronics. Back in the library, the perfect criminal with blurry security camera face was trying to rob Sam for the station's free books.
Hello!
Welcome.
This is robbery. Give
Oh.
books.
Okay. Normally, you should always cooperate with a robbery. Don't risk your life, especially if you don't have a gun. But Sam had a spear and a sudden love for his job, or he was finally taking up murder.
Thanks.
The robber came back for more pain. Sucks though that self-defense was born to Sam's murder boner. Still, he flaccidly played along by chucking wood and chopping at the man. Shit got really dirty when floor tiles started getting flung around. Even Beepski got in on the mix. Sam got pinned down by the ball of security for being cute. Fortunately, a lizard mime rescued him from a cavity search conducted with a stun baton. Afterwards, Sam was healed by a robot's Wi-Fi beam because doctors and traditional medicine is obsolete. Forget about medbay. It's been nerfed into a pharmacy where drugs get stolen and blood pressure is measured. He then received a ceiling drop. His order contained Braveheart, the Scottish Mel Gibson. Next, Sam found some free DNA lying around this filthy hole. Extraction happened in the dark where the dead man's soul was absorbed. The deal came with some James Jones speech patterns. If Sam wanted to become this guy, he needed to say "ay" while also being polite and not shutting the fuck up about Space Cleaner. Naturally, Sam got sidetracked when he drank from the Cellular Emporium. It's a brand shifting soda that gives you alien powers. After wasting his genetic points mostly on stings and whatever other bullshit, he had to escape from maintenance's black grasp with welding and sword hammering. Back at the library, a boxhead was behind the counter swinging a whetstone at Sam. If someone hit you in the chest with, say, a rock, you would stab them with a sword, right? Good. Then you can relate to Sam Windpipe and me. The corpse was milked dry by the Ling thirst and properly disposed of in a rectangular toilet. Perfect timing too. A page browser stood nearby. Thankfully, he didn't stumble upon Sam's farming operation. Until Sam's first step was revealed, then I'm sure the rest would be obvious to the intelligent reader. Well, the stabbing was actually a second step. A cheap blind sting came before that. Though too many witnesses were around for Sam to feast, so the nice healthy body went to waste. Suddenly, another snack appeared. This one was a crunchy cotton candy person that still needed to be manufactured into that weird spiderweb texture. The Willy Wonka victim managed to find the factory's exit while being blind, and he was able to crawl to a crowd of people, which caused Sam to flee. During his run, he found a chainsaw along with a wide open area to break into. Inside, there was a chemist that got blinded and terrorized by the changeling that refused to use its arm blade. Eventually, the meth-making hick made it out of his lab. Now the chemist's drug-peddling co-workers could see Sam for the sloppy murderer that he is. If you can call him that. He barely kills, and this attempt was not playing out in his favor. As a last resort, he forced himself into a monkey state, but that didn't stop the lollipop dispenser from using its circular saw to give Sam a taste of his own medicine. Right before his lifeless primate corpse could be cremated, Sam rose from the dead and tried to run away again. He even transformed into a lady with no head, skin clothes, and a spike piercing in her arm. However, it wasn't enough to prevent the fiery medieval baptism that was about to take place for the demon child. Sam Windpipe was summoned again, this time for cult duty. Coming up is one of my worst cult rounds ever. Oh, who am I kidding? Pretty much all of them play out like this. He had to claim the shotgun since Fulp Station allows way too many bartenders. There were 4 this round. The kitchen can also have like 5 chefs. Just know that oversaturated jobs will lead to departmental gang warfare. In order to prevent crime, you have to bring the community together. Sam did so by butchering a monkey while a clown watches. Or if your neighborhood is truly damaged beyond repair, then put up a wall in front of your business. Potential customers are just closeted looters anyways. Okay, Sam was really building an unnecessarily secluded entrance to give his bar the vibe of a nightclub for cultists. The iron door represents the solid commitment Sam has for his big black god. He even installed handrails for the physically retarded. Next, he forced his coworker to drink. Like companies that host mandatory team building parties, the liquor typically brings out the fighter inside of a person, but this other bartender was far too drunk to form a stance, though he was able to smack Sam with a guitar. Sam then got into a dispute with this drunk's insides on where the booze should go. He wanted to flood the body's interior land, still the stomach rejected the offer and sent it back as puke. Eventually, Sam's drinking buddy blacked out of the round. Meanwhile, in the bar's back room, the cult's witch doctor is trying to convert one of the many bartenders into a Jew by severing his penis. Sam felt bad because this particular bartender was a generous gentleman that made flamethrowers for the entire bar staff. How many cultists does it take to figure out how to convert someone? Apparently 3 plus a wiki page. I know Fulp Station is for new players, so this one is really on me, the forgetful veteran. Sam then witnessed his fellow cultist struggling to capture someone. It appears that this vet tech does not understand proper stunning and restraining techniques. Now I know how you guys feel watching me get into combat. Sam had to break up the scuffle due to the secondhand embarrassment he was feeling. Human trafficking is easy. All it takes is a little seduction, beanbag shells, and cable ties to have someone at your mercy. Though the plant theorists couldn't be indoctrinated into the crew of gnarly taggers since the ritual required another skater boy to be present. Right before another bro showed up, the cult had been exposed. Now all the cultists look like Satan worshippers, when in reality they're just trying to fit in and make new friends. At least the botanist finally agreed to join. Almost immediately after that, a duo of chefs flanked Sam and his new recruit from the bar's back room. The new guy was tossed aside. Then the chefs double-teamed Sam's ass with sharp objects. The second station we're visiting is the classic TG Basil, or Bajel. I swear they changed the fucking name every time. For almost all space station communities, the TG codebase is like a Bible. The said holy book determined how physics worked. Majority of servers build their world around TG, with the exception of goons and some other sketchy cultures that live by their own moral code. To those servers with modified TG code, I can relate to taking the default. As a kid, I started out with Windows Movie Maker, then I upgraded to pirated Sony Vegas, and now I'm using Adobe Premiere. Of course, I'm limited to the domain of Adobe, but I'm not going to make my own video editing software. The same goes for SS13 codes. Why not just expand upon what is already available? I propose everybody watching this quit school or leave their job to dedicate all of your time and effort towards space station research. Not me though, I'm an idiot. You don't want me on the team. I'd write similes for code. I do, however, know someone you would want as a leader. His name is John Sandwich, and he's the quartermaster. Before the QM arrived in the cargo bay, there were 2 crate pushers already working hard. The 3 of them together were all on the same page that read weaponry was their only priority. To satisfy this order, a gun cargo strategy would have to be implemented. The supply gang then took their energy gun crates to Freedom Land, where you can find lava, which is hot enough to get you into anything you could ever want. A well-armed workplace is either great or terrible for morale. Depends on your co-workers. Nevertheless, cargo's new policy included a minimum of 1 gun tucked in every employee's belt. Barely a minute goes by and cargo already had a security breach that was being dealt with by its safety committee. The threat's attack with a shotgun had failed against these second amenders packing the energy guns approved by the Constitution. Betrayal of the United States came next when the cargo workers started opening Russian crates filled with rifles and Soviet uniforms. At the bay's entrance, a swordsman was trying to cut his way in. This one looks the same as the armored up foe from earlier. Apparently, they are henchmen enslaved by the wizard. The member of the magic army had weakened Cargonian's gate to the point it was open for all to enter. Obviously the door is like a loose pussy, but who in their right mind would say that? Not me. Anyways, Cargo's trio of cowboys chased off the wolf in night clothes. Then the 3 of them walked together with their weapons ready as they made their way to the escape shuttle. On the way there, one of those undead gladiators tried to act as a homicidal hall monitor. This did stall the crew a bit, and may have even left a few scars, but inevitably the skeleton was exposed to death. As they got closer to the shuttle, the cargo hoes had separated from each other. John made a new friend that turned on him faster than a cult recruiter, only he was another one of those stooges working for some man-titty jerk-off in a robe, all because a spell told him to. The magical onslaught continued when a Doritos breath fireball had greeted John and some other poor fucker when they tried to get on the emergency shuttle. He should have retreated after that splash of heat, but John couldn't let the sandwich name get smeared with cowardness. The wizard had allowed the few remaining survivors to board the shuttle, probably to make escaping life easier for them. One of the cargo technicians made it on. Well, both of them did technically, though the lizard guy was already dead while this other fellow was close to copying that trend. The wizard revealed himself to speed up the process of getting everybody on the rickety bandwagon that's heading off a cliff. Hanging on the edge were John and this other lucky bastard wearing purple. Unfortunately, neither of them could find a video that debunked the wizard's spells. Therefore, they may have lost to an elaborate showman or an actual magic man. That is still up for debate. Good job, wizard. You won. And you created minions to share the victory with, like waiting until you get rich to have kids. Maybe you should adopt, huh? You selfish billionaire. Also, if the 3 cargo workers didn't stay in the department getting prepped all shift, they more than likely wouldn't have lasted until the end. Up next, I got more TG for you, featuring Bruce Rockwell, the CMO, because I have to make baby steps outside of the service industry if I ever want to make a decent living doing this. My selfish dreams would have to wait since Bruce Rockwell is what reality currently had to offer. And on his soapbox, located at the center of the universe, he made an announcement. No one get hurt. I don't know why Beyond is scared of apostrophes. It's been like this for as long as I remember. T, know what I am doing. Also turn off your suit sensors. No one cares about you. Letting a guy in his office to use a medkit is the most work you will be seeing out of Bruce all shift. Unless you count being a supervisor as work, which I don't. Yeah, they work longer hours than their inferiors, but their job is like sitting in a car that is repeatedly being hand washed. Some kind of shipping error had occurred in the middle of medbay. While searching the wreckage, Bruce found some cash, which could belong to a drug dealer or a racist, so it's better off in his possession. Though money garners the attention of hairy-legged monsters in protesting heat. This combination almost roasted Bruce into a monk. Pacifism would have to take a back seat to dragon slaying since there was one flying around EVA like a bat trapped in an attic. The flamethrower with wings was already in critical condition when Bruce arrived on the scene. Still, credit was going to be stolen by either him or this metalhead for landing the final blow. Nevertheless, someone stole the trophy before Bruce could butcher the carcass for its meat and scales. He then got trapped in the captain's quarters, which usually means you are about to be converted into an obedient first mate. Bruce had to pray for help. Please let Scooby Doo rescue me. God wrote back, Scooby Machine broke. The real criminal eating dog didn't show up. Instead, he got a tan corgi named Scooby Doo. Alright, I'm not gonna front. My prayers have been getting answered more now that I'm 30k sub famous. I guess that's why celebrities are always thanking God. There was this other round on Fulp where I prayed for a fat blunt and 2 bad bitches. I got some joints and a couple of dogs. That's how these genies operate sometimes. Anyways, back to the crossover episode. Scooby!
Hello.
I was just thinking about killing myself until you showed up, you deep-fried pup.
There's no time for
How do we get
this.
out of this
Only mysteries to solve.
Lead the way. Scooby then used the Force to open the doors. Man, I can't wait to see that as a scene in a future Star Wars movie whenever Disney buys Warner Brothers solely for the rights to Scooby Doo. Sadly, Bruce was separated from his dog by a portal that teleported him 2 rooms over. They would never see each other again. The lonely man went back to his broken home. In most cases, the medbay ages faster than a dog when compared to the rest of the human station. Plus, whatever they're feeding this department isn't helping its health any. Then Bruce ended his day by becoming a nightcap for a combat bear. Truth be told, he was merely a pre-snack for this bear's calorie-consuming claws. Lastly, let's pay a visit to the recolored version of Colonial Marines, Halo Station. These spin-off servers catch my eyes, but usually don't hold them for very long. There is a Dead Space server too. I'll check that out eventually, though for now we got a story about an avid Halo player named Bradley Barron. The Master Chief Army provides recruits such as Bradley with a career opportunity, a bed, and an email address. On his first day, he got to drive the tank. Usually don't get this privilege until the second day of training, but Bradley was a fast learner. A few minutes later, he was piloting a selective wormhole craft. Bradley had landed in a remote village. He figured no one would care if he launched his own raid against these innocent NPCs. Of course, his questionable behavior pissed off one of his commanding officers. His tour abruptly ended when he was murdered by the elite, like being part of the Clinton body count.
Alright, here comes my name. Wow, best $8 I ever spent.
I made a second channel for streaming. It's just called Boat Bomber Streams. It's linked on my channel and I'll put it in the description. I noticed I've been streaming a lot, and I understand that's probably most majority of you actually do not want to see that. That's cool with me. I just do it for fun, just like I do this, but I put more effort into this kind of stuff, obviously, so it should get more views, I would hope. But my streams are just usually me just getting high in my garage or just playing video games, so if you're into that and want to see it, then go to that channel. But if not, then just stick here, you fucker. I will also be uploading a bunch of previously unlisted and almost unseen streams. I got like 40 of them dating back to like 2017. I don't want to spam y'all with it, so I might just kind of slowly put those on there. But we'll see. Just whatever. Thanks for watching the video.